Well, another 3/4 inch of rain.
Another 3/4, still a little too wet.
And a muddy planter over there. Not gonna do any planting today. We got a very important job to do though.
Oh boy.
Very important.
How important is it?
Well, I've been waiting to do this job for 6 months. We got to get a cotton picker ready to ship off.
Oh boy, let's clean it up. Let's make sure it's super nice and ready.
Yeah, no, I think it just needs jumping off and a couple odds and ends taken off of it, and she'll be ready to ship down the road. Guy's gonna come by and get it this morning.
Well, that's good. That's what we want to hear.
We finally got the check for it, so.
Check's got some dollars behind it.
Well, I hope it does. The bank says it's got some dollars behind it, so.
That's all we need to hear, I guess.
That's right. All right, well, let's get down there and see what we can get done on it. Old girl got a new home. Yeah, we gotta jump the whole thing off. Cause last y'all saw last week, I had some guys from Kazakhstan here looking at it and looking over real good, and I think they left the key on whenever they was here and killed the batteries. Yeah, normally this thing doesn't ever need jumping off. They fired it up last week and been sitting for no telling how many months. When y'all saw that, you know, I thought there's a pretty good chance they were going to buy it. And I got word from the broker that they were 99.9% sure that they were going to buy it. And well, this other guy, he'd been locally looking at this picker since January. And I've been talking with him off and on, like, hey, you still interested? Yeah, I am. I gotta sell some other equipment, yada, 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 all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, when I got word that the guys from Kazakhstan were going to come here and look at it, I called them up and like, look, man, this thing probably about to sell. I mean, if you want it, I'd like to sell it to you. If you want it, you need to come up with money and go ahead and pay me for it. Like, well, I'll see what I can do. But anyway, didn't hear anything back from them. Guys from Kazakhstan showed up and their broker said they're 99.9% sure they were going to buy it. And anyway, a day and a half later, the local guy called me up, like, who do I need to make this check out to? I was like, man, I'm sorry, this doesn't been spoken for. I mean, I haven't got any money yet because it's going to take about 7 to 10 days to get money from Kazakhstan over here, but it's already been, you know, technically it's been spoken for. Anyway, he kind of upset, disappointed, but I mean, I gave him a fair chance. I warned him. So anyway, right after that, I called the brokers, and I told him, look, I got somebody willing to give me a check for it right now. Are y'all going to buy this picker or not? And anyway, originally he was 99.9% sure. This time he said, well, I'm 99% sure. We haven't actually gotten the okay from the farmers yet, but I'm 99% sure it's going to sell for the price that we agreed on. But if you got somebody, we'll give you a check right now. You need to go ahead and sell it. So that's what I did. I called the original guy up and told him, give me a check, it's yours. They got me a check, called the bank, make sure funds was in the account. They said it is good to go, so we're getting it ready to ship off. Yeah, all we gotta do is jump it off. American flag coming down, and then the Starfire ITC's coming off, and I believe that'll have everything off of it that we need. All right, you wanna get up there and try her out? Not yet. All right, let's try it again. Oh. I gotta drive her one last time. I also forgot to mention that the guy also bought the bowl buggy right there. So all of our old basket picker cotton equipment is now sold. That other module builder you see in the shed down there, it's actually been sold since like December, January. The guy just hadn't got it, but I already gotten paid for it, so I don't care if it sits under the shed. So now we've 100% officially made the transition to round bale cotton pickers now. I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her leave.
Oh yeah, you like her going away. See her walking away.
Yeah. One less problem to deal with this year. All right, on to special project number 2 for the day. A couple months ago, Kelly decided she wanted her own farming operation, so she got tired of the prices of eggs in the store, so she decided she's going to start raising some chickens. So anyway, I don't have any part of that. I got my hands full just tending to this farming operation, but decided I'd help her out. So Saturday I started building her own chicken coop. Right now she's been keeping them at our neighbor's farm who raises a bunch of animals and stuff, and got to go over there every day to feed them and check on them, whatnot. So decided I'd make her own chicken coop that could go up there in the yard, with the side benefit of producing my own litter, since having a hard time sourcing any. Now, it won't produce enough litter for my crops, but at least I can keep my yard fertilized. So we got a mobile chicken coop here on skids, so we can just drag it around the yard wherever we want to, fertilize different sections of the yard. Got started on this Saturday. We got all the framing done. Got started running the chicken wire. Man, that chicken wire is a pain in the butt. And we got our metal picked up for the back half of it. So that's what we're gonna work on the rest of the day today while waiting on fields to dry out. Hey, you ready to go load us some chickens now?
Hope they load themselves.
That's gonna be Kelly's deal. We done our job. Well, here's a finished project, guys. I never professed to be a carpenter, but I think I did a pretty decent job, if I do say so myself, right there. Nice 8x16 coop. And we got a metal frame right there to hook it to the front end loader. Got it bolted all the way around over here on the 6x6s, so we can pick it, we can just lift it up with a front end loader just a little bit off the ground and slide it anywhere we want to go. As you can see, it's still pretty dang wet out here. We got another rain shower today. I don't know how much we got, maybe 1/3 of an inch or so. I don't think we got near as much rain up in Jackson though. So we got a 110 acre farm up in there that when I checked it late this afternoon, I think another half a day of drying, we can go plant it if we don't get any more. It's starting to get serious. We got to get some more cotton in the ground, and got to do it in a hurry. And we're not going to do it around here for probably at least a day and a half minimum is how much it's going to need to dry up. So I don't know, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Meantime, I'm gonna get this thing up in the yard. Well, for better or for worse, we're gonna try it again. Definitely too wet here around the shop. We got 2 more showers yesterday afternoon. We got 110 acres up here in Jackson that they got like less than 1/10 of an inch of rain yesterday, so it's gonna be heavy, but we can get the planter across the field, I believe. Our window for planting cotton is closing really quick. I believe today's the 17th. The last day we can get full insurance coverage on our cotton is the 20th. Now we can plant a little later than that, but you're not going to get 100% yield potential just because you're not going to have enough growing season left in the year. And in fact, I dare say right now, we're going to have a really warm, above average summer to reach 100% yield potential right now. Even though conditions ain't the best for planting, it is imperative we get this cotton germinating and on its way to coming up out of the ground as quick as possible. There's the farm we worked on 2 afternoons ago. You can see that paraquat. Boy, it works fast on that cover crop. Man, look how pretty that is with it all laid down just like that. Got Andy out in front of me heading up there with the crimper. He's definitely gonna beat me up there. That tractor's got a top speed of 31 miles an hour, whereas mine tops out 26 miles an hour.
Stuff is unbelievably rank and high. It's ridiculous. Ooh, glad they're killing it though.
All right, up here on Smith family, man, we got some gorgeous cover crop. I mean, look at this. I mean, I'm 6'2", you know, it's over 5 feet tall here, thick. This stuff is going to lay down like a dream and gonna give us some fantastic weed control. And considering we got a few problem areas of pigweeds on this farm, and it's a long ways from the shop, really ought to help ease my workload this summer. But you know, we got cereal rye, that's the tallest. And then we got annual ryegrass down here heading out. And then down below here, you see the crimson clover. It's all bloomed out and just about got mature seed. And there's some rape in here somewhere. Some of it survived that brutally cold snap we had there in late December. But man alive, look at this stuff. I know there's a lot of cow guys out there saying, man, you should cut that for hay. That's a whole lot of good feed gone to waste. It's not gone to waste. It's going to be feeding some livestock. It's just going to be feeding my livestock that lives in the soil rather than the kind that we grow on top of the ground and butcher and eat ourselves. So it's definitely going to be going to some good use. But man, I'm tickled with this. But this is what can happen when you have pretty much a failed corn crop. Got a low residue to plant into and pretty good bit of residual nitrogen left in the soil. This is what's possible. But I'm tickled with this. You talk about building some organic matter and some soil structure real fast. That's what's going to happen here. All right, Andy's waiting for Kelly to make her first lap around the field, and then I'll be right on his heels with the planter, getting this seed in the ground. That's what I'm talking about. Didn't even have to ask him to service it. He's out here with a grease gun, making sure it's going to be good for the long haul.
Don't want to lose one of these going through the field.
No, I sure don't want to lose one of those going through the field. That's always a lot more fun when you got proper lubrication.
Oh yeah. Well, all right, I think we're about to try this again. We had to move to Jackson, which is just 5-10 miles down the road. So, but they didn't get as much rain as we did this weekend, and where we ended up last weekend, man, that car was all kinds of messed up. Well, all right, I think we're about to be ready to try this planting cotton one more time again. We're just gonna try it out here. There's too much going on right here in this corner for me to pay attention to what I'm saying. Well, I believe we're about ready to try this again. Try this planting cotton one more time. Kelly is already on the field spraying, so we're just sitting here waiting until it soaks into the grass a little longer. But so we moved about 10 miles northeast-ish, southeast-ish. And because they didn't get as much rain as we did, they got about ½ an inch less than we did. So this ground looks a little dry. We're going to try it out and see what happens. And Kelly is about 3/4 of the way all the way around this field. So when she gets around and starts on her second pass a little ways, I'm gonna go on right behind her, and then here comes Matt right behind me. So just same old thing, different farm. We still have to go back because we're back working out of order now, and there's really no necessary order, I guess, because it's just beat the rain, beat the wet ground.
Well, we finally back putting some seed in the ground, and hopefully we can roll on until we get done. It's mid-Wednesday afternoon right now, and we're supposed to get another round rain in Friday night. So what we've got left to do is about 300 acres. As long as we don't have any problems, we should be able to get that done. However, we do have a problem that's popped up. I lost communication with furrow force on number 12 right there. And I got out there to diagnose it, and nothing wrong with the wiring harness, everything's still plugged in. But the thing that threw me for a loop is the red light on the back that was blinking normally. It wasn't blinking erratically, which would indicate a code, which whenever we've had a problem with any other parts of the electronics on there, you know, the red lights on whatever it is that we're having a problem with blinks a code erratically, but it's blinking normally like everything's fine and dandy back there. So it's still closing the C trench, still got pressure on the airbag, so I'm gonna keep on planting. Got my buddy Caleb from Vantage Mid-South. He's bringing new tail wheel assembly, wiring harnesses and other stuff down here, and we'll try and diagnose it this afternoon, because I don't like, even though it's closing the trench, I don't like not being able to monitor it, because what happens if all of a sudden it's not closing the trench. So until he gets here, I'm just going to get off periodically and make sure you know, it's still doing what it's supposed to do. Man alive, look at that cover crop just rolled down. Look like Yankee Stadium right there. Laid it down perfectly. This is some of the thickest cover crop I've planted into in quite some time. Definitely ever since we started doing our burn down strips, because I mean, you can't even hardly tell right there where my burn down strips are. But looking behind the planter, you can tell where they are. But I've got I'm running 85 pounds of down pressure on my row cleaners right there, just to try and make sure that it parts all the cover crop that's laid over onto the row, gets it out of the way. So we're putting seed down into good clean dirt there.
Me and this GPS ain't getting along. The minute I get straight on the row, just straight, it just wants to go left, right, straight, and then it does this the whole time. I have to back up because it's missing. Do better, John Deere, do better. Do better. There's no trees. There's no trees. It's flat. John Deere needs to do better. As much as we pay, do better. It won't even stay straight on the row. It'll just start wiggling. There it goes. Now, I mean, we're not gonna be 100% accurate, but it gets to a point where it literally will just start shaking me left and right, like rocking back and forth. And I mean, I'm straight lines. Straight lines. So, I don't know. But the tech did say that it is a nationwide problem that they've been hearing about. So, I don't know if anybody else that drives these John Deere sprayers with this technology, do you have the same problem? Not guys who are in straight fields like in Texas where there's no trees. I'm just wondering if it's just us or it really is a nationwide problem. So I hate it because when you do turn so quick like that, it will jack those booms up and just slam them back and forth, and that's a lot of weight. So, you know, it'd be much easier when there's actual rows to follow than relying on GPS.
Well, it's turned into a quite a beautiful afternoon. We made some good progress. I haven't had to hardly wait on Andy too much. He's been doing a pretty good job keeping ahead of me. We got our furrow force problem fixed. Problem was it had a bad load cell on it. Replace that, everything back in the green. I know there's some of y'all that will disagree with me, but man, that's a beautiful sight behind me. Building the soil and really hoping to set this cotton crop up for a really good year. And with hopefully a whole lot lower herbicide bill too. And really hoping with not much manual pigweed removal either. All right, we had kind of an unplanned test plot here and want to show you just the importance of our burn down strips while we do it for planting cotton into these high biomass cover crops. You can tell right there, it's real easy to tell exactly where I planted. And then you look right down through there, you know, we're down to bare soil right there. Yeah, I got to set my row cleaners real aggressively with a lot of down pressure because this stuff is so thick that when Andy's rolling it, it's covering the middle. So I got to force the row cleaners down to make sure we get to the ground and we can part the cover crop and shove it to the side rather than it kind of just floating on top. Well, this whole corner right over here where Andy's at, when I was doing my burn down strips, I don't know if it was late in the evening, I was hungry and ready to go home or what, but anyway, I forgot to put my strips in this corner right here. So we're going right here on one pass to where, right over here where I forgot to do my strips. You know, there's a pretty big difference. Yeah, you can see where the planter's running, but you see right here, I mean, we're not down to bare soil. We've still got cover crop right here that can potentially interfere with seed dropping. Now, it looks like we're still getting the majority of it in there. There's one seed right there that didn't get in there. But we're not down to bare soil, and we still got a lot of corn residue right here to contend with also. There's another one that didn't get in the seed trench. Say this cover crop can kind of sit over like that, and then it interferes with seed dropping from the seed tube down into the trench. It can kind of catch it and knock it out. So while I think we should still get a decent stand right here, you know, we're still probably going to see a stand reduction over here in this corner as opposed to the rest of the field right there. And I can guarantee you, if I didn't have clean sweep on that planter to be able to add a lot more down pressure to the row cleaners, it wouldn't look as good as this right here. Because, you know, I planted in this stuff before with just standard row cleaners, and you know, they're heavy, but they're not heavy enough to part, you know, this much biomass right here. So here's another place where the planter ran, and I mean, you still got to go dig down another 2 inches just to get to the soil surface. And when you're trying to place a really small, a light seed like cotton accurately in the ground, you know, at 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep, it's just really tough to do. You know, the equipment's just not designed to do that. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this looks all year long, see if we can see a noticeable difference come harvest time. When you get done with that little jagged over there, Kelly got that little bottom right down the road sprayed, so we'll get that planted and call it a day.
10-4, that's where I'll be headed after this.
It feels kind of weird, you know, we got about another 30 minutes of planting to do, and then we'll be caught up with everything that Kelly got sprayed. I had her spray about 70 acres. And I kind of had my doubts if we'd be able to get across all that, but there we are. It's just now getting dark. Got about another 30 minutes of planting left to do and be caught up. It's going to feel pretty weird shutting off the planter before 10, 11 o'clock, midnight this year. Kind of wish I told her to spray a little bit more, but after that field, then we're going down to a big bottom. Kind of got confusing the way I got the rows run, and didn't really want Andy to have to try and decipher that in the dark. But anyway, that'll give us, what we got left over here will give us another good morning's worth of running before we got to move back closer to home where it's wetter. Hopefully this afternoon it's done a good bit of drying up, and tomorrow morning do, you know, some more drying up, and hopefully when we get back there tomorrow, it'll be about like what this is right here as far as plantability.
All right, well this is kind of weird. We're wrapping up on a full field for the day, and there's no raindrops on the windshield. I'm definitely not complaining a single bit about no raindrops on the windshield, but yeah, Matt is coming right behind me. I just lack what's left on this side of the tractor, and he said after I get done with this little bottom, we can call it a night. So that's what we're doing, and we have completely finished this field. Hallelujah.
Let's fold up and go to the house. I didn't bring no snacks this afternoon. I'm hungry.
I am fine with that. I was just saying it's a little crazy. We're finishing up on our last couple passes and no raindrops on the windshield tonight.
Yeah, and it also feels kind of weird shutting the tractor off when I can still see just a hint of daylight on the horizon. It don't feel right. I feel like I need to be out here longer. We are only a month away from the longest day of the year, so it's getting dark pretty late. It ain't like it's getting dark early and we going home early. It's 8:45 right now. We're about to shut off.
Are we driving tractors back or we leaving them up there by the blue truck?
Now let's go up there to the Ford.
10-4.
Anyway, I was just counting up the acres in my head. We got about 230 acres of cotton left to plant. So if everything runs smoothly, I mean, that's not even two hard days running. So keep our fingers crossed we can get this finished up on Friday. And hopefully be able to go home and enjoy a Friday evening at home for once.